today on Business Under Fire, we're with Mason Steele, that's with Town, which is the name of his web company, media company. We'll get into that. And the purpose of this podcast, Mason, is really, there's a few different reasons, but one is to share entrepreneurs' journeys. And that's kind of why Mason and I started talking about how he got to do what he's doing and how he got to where he's at, which I don't think that where you're at today is anywhere near where you're going to be in 10 years. And we were on
Let's hope so, for sure.
And we were talking on the phone and I was like, dude, have you ever got money from investors? Have you done this? Have you done that? And I said, man, why don't you just come on the freaking podcast? Because we're going to use Mason's company for a bunch of our website stuff. And he had a bunch of stories and we were just talking. I was like, hey, let's just stop talking. We'll just talk on the website. So he flew down here from Dallas on beautiful Southwest today. And he's kind of running around Seguin. So we're glad to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Something funny is first time on Southwest, and the awkwardness of getting in that line, and especially at 6 a.m. was just so funny to me because I'm an American guy, so your seat's already picked.
Oh.
So I got in the line, and this guy gets in front of me, he's like, actually, man, I was back there, but I'm actually 13, so I'm going to get here. And I'm like, dude, go for it. The lady just said there's 70 seats out of 140 filled on the flight. You got it, brother. But it was so funny, him pushing. I'm like, this is a great human experience, just lining us up right out the gates, rush to your seat. I kind of loved it though. It was kind of funny.
That was your first Southwest experience?
I fly out of DFW normally, which I loved Love Field, by the way. Love Field was awesome. But normally Americans all out of DFW, so it's always been American.
And convenient. So my tactic on Southwest is
see, there's a tactic.
There is. And it's, let everybody line up. Let them 30 minutes before. Go stand there. Go do what you want. I'm going to sit in the chair and people watch because that's what airports are good for. They got everything you want for me. People watching and airplane watching.
And coffee.
And coffee. So let them all line up and do what they want. And then right on the top of that tag, it says, 25 through 30, stand here. So if I'm 20, I go stand at 25. And then I know that if the person asks me, I'm going to say, well, I'm really 20, but you can go ahead. So that's my tactic on Southwest.
Dude, it's some funny stuff. I don't know. It was just, I liked it because it was just I'm a people person, so being able to watch people run to their seat was kind of funny. But
they're doing away with.
They are. I just saw this, and
I don't like it.
Let's talk about that because what for me is sometimes, especially when I haven't ran a big corporation, so I can't tell you what they're seeing on the numbers end. And clearly, they've got a lot of smart people in it. I would say the numbers are better to let you pick your seats or whatever. But it's just why go away with what's been your bread and butter for so long? And that seems like it's a preference of some people. To me, it was a little awkward, but honestly, I kind of liked it too, though. I mean, it's a different thing. So
the only time I haven't liked it is when it's a full bus, full plane, and you have 4 people and you want to sit together. That's the only time I haven't liked it. But and it's really one of the differentiating things in that airline. So Southwest culture has gone from the fun, love airline that it was, where flight attendants joke, pilots joke, great thing. And it's slowly morphing into every other airline. And so I feel like they're getting away, but they got a lot of money from private equity or somebody bought into it. And now they're starting to conform what a large investor says. So we'll find out what happens. But as an airplane nut, my passion is aviation, I would prefer the seating that they have. And it kind of sucks that they're morphing and growing into what they're growing into, but we'll see what happens.
I thought their seats were honestly kind of better than American. The seats were pretty comfortable. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Southwest. But it is funny because you mentioned private equity getting involved, and man, people do swear that anytime private equity jumps in anything, it's the death of everything. Except for the person who ran the business that got paid by private equity.
Which is the dude that has all of the weight on their back, and And if it's time to go out and they've made that decision, then go.
Yeah.
And let someone else deal with your baby.
Yeah.
And it's not even your baby. It's gone. And I don't think that the people who don't work for themselves have any clue of the stress and the amount of work that goes on to working for yourself.
Totally. And I always say too, like, and for me, we work really hard and we work all the time, but it's also like, sometimes I walk out in the morning going to the gym at like 6 a.m. and I'm like, it's cold. And I know there's somebody out there doing physical labor in this right now and he's working his ass off. And I think to myself, like, yes, what I do is hard and it brings a different level of stress and anxiety and all that. But like at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for anything, right? I still feel blessed in doing it. But you definitely, you know, when people like want to start their own company, it's like, one thing that they always say is like, oh, well, then I get to like, whatever, choose my own schedule and do that stuff. And exactly. Every entrepreneur always laughs. You're like, that's what you got into it for sure. Yeah. But then you realize real quickly, no, the business starts to dictate your schedule, which means, sure, like you might have a Tuesday where things are a little more lax and we can do something like this.
Yeah.
But then also what happens when shit hits the fan on Saturday and Sunday and you get to fly out somewhere. And
why did you start working for yourself? What led into that?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with the beginning. When I was, so even at 18, my family was in health, life, and accident insurance. And so I had the ability to basically, I mean, I just told him, I just walked in a room one day, I was like, yo, Dad, I'm going to sell health, life, and accident insurance. And he was like, okay, cool. Like
a new employee.
Yeah, literally. And he's like, not exactly a doctor or whatever, but that's a hell of a dream. But anyways, and we'll talk about where I had dreams and aspirations, but I just knew it was good money. And I knew that there was one thing, it was going to teach me how to just get up and talk to people and cold call and sell. And there was unlimited potential, right? I mean, because it's 1099 what they were doing. And there were people in that room making $1,000 a month, and there's people in that room making $1 million a month doing the same thing. And so I like that unlimited potential. And it was 1099. And what I realized really quickly was in any kind of sales, whether you're salary tech sales or you're going to be doing your own kind of sales, is that like, if you're just going to cold call, you're really going to struggle. It's going to be a really hard grind. And the people that really get rich in sales, you'll find quickly have referral networks. They have distribution partners, things like that. So anyways, that's where I started. It was kind of like running my own business because I'm selling someone's insurance and product, but really it's,
how are y'all getting leads on that?
Well, so, I mean, they were just handing you a stack of leads. I mean, a lot of times they were just cold B leads.
Qualified leads at all or no?
Shit, no. Yeah. I mean, it was like cold B leads and, that's how they got you started. But the idea is that you had to go pay for your own leads and stuff too. Like it was your 1099. And that's what I was saying. It started to teach you how to run your own business because if you want new leads and these things, you have to go buy them. Mm-hmm. You have to go find them. Now they would provide, don't get me wrong, they had a funnel of, I don't know, whatever, a couple hundred or whatever. But, in the end, you had to get everything yourself.
So you were working for yourself as a 1099 employee, making phone calls, cold calls before you decided that you were going to beautiful Lubbock and Texas Tech.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Like I was dead set I wasn't going to go to college and didn't do any college visits in high school or anything.
What in the world changed your mind?
It sucked. I mean, honestly, yeah, just the insurance stuff just sucked. I mean, I did it to myself. I burned myself out. I was working Saturdays and Sundays in high school, skipped prom, whatever. I was like, oh, I'm just going to work, hustle, make money, woohoo. And then I just looked up one day. I was like, I feel like shit. I look like shit. Like, and it was one of those things where it wasn't a healthy lifestyle I was living and I learned it quick. So I was like, all right, whatever.
It's nice that at a young age that you just took responsibility for yourself and stopped blaming people for, what happened to you.
Yeah.
Because you did it to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like I knew I stepped into this and I had to own that. Like I was making good money, but this wasn't what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think like I've always told anybody, I don't care what you want to be. I don't care if you want to be a doctor. Earlier you can step into, go sell Cutco, go sell pest control, go sell something. Yeah. Just learn how to get in front of people and just persuade and push a product because it's the most essential piece to any business is you have builders and sellers in every business. I mean, and that's really it. And you'll find in most good business relationships, there's someone who is more responsible for the building and one more responsible for the selling. So I kind of took the ownership of selling, and I had fun doing it. And I love selling. So
solving problems. The bigger the problem, the bigger the money.
That is true.
That's the rumor.
No, I mean, that is the truth though, right? Like, at the end of the day, you want to pay someone to do something that you can't. That's kind of what I've always looked at it like, so.
That's one of the things that I struggle with is I sold landscaping forever. So we might sell one job that keeps guys busy for 2 weeks or 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, now when people call and they're like, hey, I want to get a burger, but I'm like, so here I am. I've got to sell these. Hey, well, I'll take care of you. Get over there. And I'm selling a burger and fries.
Yeah.
Or people are calling, hey, we have a party at 10. Can you get us in? I'm like, but you go back to what I've always naturally done is sell. And now it's more customer service and call the general manager. Hey, we got these people going in. Can you take care of them? And now I'm giving them way more of an experience and a reason to come back to the restaurant. But it is difficult. I tell people I'm selling spaghetti and hamburgers now. So maybe that's why I keep up with the construction shit too. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Here's your burger.
Well, I think too, like,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
though?
no, definitely. And I was gonna say, like, if you actually look at there's more restaurants than like any other business, really, right? And like if you look at it, it's like, well, what's the number one problem is always like food. I need to eat. So that's why people are like, I can open a restaurant, everyone eats. It's just easy. It's right in front of you. And that's why so many people jump into restaurants too. And then that creates thousands of restaurants.
The restaurant industry is interesting because they say it has such a high failure rate. But
and it actually does.
Well, I agree with that, but look at the people that are trying to run a restaurant.
Well, that's the problem.
And a lot of times, I say this all the time, running a restaurant has almost nothing to do with food. But to the person walking in that door, your restaurant has everything to do with food. And the disconnect between what I'm doing day to day to get that good plate in front of you, it has nothing to do with food.
Yeah.
It's wild that it's on such a far end of the spectrum.
Restaurants are crazy too because they actually, I don't know how else to put it on there. They involve every aspect of business at like such a high level. And if you mess up at any piece of business as a wide column, like you're kind of screwed, man. Like restaurants, they don't leave a lot of room for error. That's the big thing I think a lot of people miss. Like margins are thin.
It is wild. It's crazy that, and maybe I think it's easier. It's not easy, but it's easier than the landscaping because first of all, landscaping, every single item that I need to get to your house, I have to go pick up in a truck and trailer. Well, every item that comes from the restaurant gets delivered.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, that was easy.
Yeah. You cut that part out immediately and you're like, this is awesome.
This is great. And then you were talking about it in the beginning about working outside. Well, we hire people in the old landscape days of all ages, 16, my buddies were working with me up to whatever, 50, 60 years old. And you hand them a shovel and you say, go plant that tree. And the first time they try to dig, ping, they hit a rock. And so you tell a man, all right, I know you hit the rock, but that's where Miss Jones wants the tree. And they're like, fuck this. And it's freezing outside or it's 110 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And then the other thing with the landscaping is paying a living wage.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes I made was not going into plumbing or not going into HVAC or not going into a trade that you could pay a guy back in the day 50, 60, 70, 80,000 a year. Because in the landscaping, especially the lawn maintenance, how much time is this truck of 4 guys not on a job producing revenue?
Yeah.
It's a good part of the day.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of landscaping. I'm glad I did, but I do feel like the restaurants are a little bit easier than landscaping. But you can also go to any business with a failure rate, which is what we were talking about, and look at the idiots up top.
Oh yeah, always.
and see why. I could give you so many examples of people that have started a business that I know that failed.
Yeah.
And it could be anything, selling pencils or helicopters. And the reason they failed was just like you on the cold calls. After a day,
They quit.
They're like, screw this.
Yep.
After 2 days, screw this.
Yeah. They quit.
And
Totally.
And me and you were just having a conversation about a guy that I had in my office making cold calls for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And of those 3 months, we got 3 or 4 customers that we kept for 10 years.
Yep. One of my favorite books, Cold Calling Sucks, but that's why it works. And it's a newer book, and it's not what I didn't read that book to learn cold calling, but someone showed it to me and I read it, a buddy of mine. And reading it was just so funny because right out the gates, I was like, damn, I have the same exact experience as these guys, like that wrote the book. And they were just, they were something like Northwestern Mutual or something like that. And just another kind of hard cold calling sales. And that's what I always say. And I remind myself too, like whenever I'm cold calling, I don't know how to explain that lull or drag you hit when you're in the middle of a cold call session, man, but it'll happen to everyone. And it's just like, this sucks. This is the worst thing I could be doing on the planet. It just, those thoughts just seep in your mind.
What do you think separates the difference between people that can sit there and continue to do it versus the ones that are like, man, I'm not doing this shit?
I don't know, honestly. Definitely personality, how you grew up. I always talk about it too. Whenever I was growing up, and I look at it now, and even to this day, if I want anything to do from my like really mom or dad, I look at it now, I'm like, you guys make me sell you on anything I've ever wanted. Like I'm like thinking about when I wanted that Clifford movie when I was 4, it was like, why do you deserve the Clifford movie? Like, you know, like, and it's just like soft selling my whole life. So I don't know if that's part of it. And then also just like having parents that were in sales. So they weren't scared of the random stranger conversations and they encouraged it. My mom, I remember too, like my mom, we were talking about it. She was the other day, someone was telling her like, oh yeah, it's dangerous. Don't talk to strangers to a kid or something. She looked at me and she said, you know, I never taught you that. And I was like, yeah, it's funny because remember when I was like in middle school and someone said that, I'm like, I've never heard that. And everyone looked at me crazy. And my parents didn't teach that because I was like, yeah, don't get in the white van, but like, you know, like talk to people and be friendly and learn from people.
Last week, I had the best day talking to strangers. It started with a guy walking into Home Depot. It got cold, as cold as anything.
Yeah.
And he's wearing t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops. And it's like 35 outside. And I pat him on the back, a complete stranger, and said, I didn't want to wear a long sleeve shirt or jeans either. He goes, it's not that cold. And then him and I started having a blast walking through Home Depot.
Yeah.
And then talking to the lady at the paint section in Home Depot. This lady was in Home Depot trying to get them to redo the color of the paint that she had already picked. I could just tell that these two ladies had it.
Yeah.
Well, I left Home Depot and I came back 2 hours later.
Oh no.
Guess who was at the counter still?
Dude, that's bad.
So Betty at Home Depot in Seguin is on the ladder in the section that I was in. And I walked in, she goes, oh, hey, you're back. And I said, I see somebody hasn't left the paint desk. And she's like, I said, why don't you tell her to get out of here? You've passed your time limit. We started dying. But again, that goes back to talking to strangers, and I get joy out of seeing what people are doing.
Well, and you know, it's funny. I'll walk into Home Depot after Betty and I'll go in there and I'll try to talk to Home Depot dude and he'll give me some attitude. And I'm like, dude, what's this guy's problem? Meanwhile, he just spoke to Betty for 5.5 hours about her color of paint.
One of my favorite things to do when I go to somebody's business, and I started this years ago, and it's terrible, but I love it. I like to walk into wherever they work and I say, is Mason here? And they're like, nah, he's at, I don't know where he's at right now. I said, well, did he put in his 2 weeks notice already? And I say that shit everywhere. And I don't know the destruction that causes, but I do it everywhere.
I'm going to steal that one, dude.
Did he finally put in his 2 weeks notice? Or
yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because then you got confused. You're like, oh, Did he put it? He said he put it in already.
Oh, they're serious. They're like, for real? I go, no, it's a joke, or you just leave it as it is.
Yeah, I would leave it.
Oh,
I love leaving that in the air.
I love it.
Then your buddy calls you in a week and he's like, dude, they're telling me I'm supposed to be out of here.
Oops.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't do what I do, but if you do it well.
Yeah, amen.
So we're talking about cold calls, and that's how you found me.
That is.
How the hell did you find me? I asked.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. This goes back to what else we were just talking about. I was talking to fucking strangers.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd you find me?
Okay, so a couple different ways. So we did. Well, one, I had your information kind of sort of from a previous company I had, which was like a coupon app company called Blueverse. And I had sales guys and interns. And I went and looked in our old sales database because I was trying to find a contact for Beer House. Because when I looked at the Beer House, the site was down. I was like linking to like a Chinese casino or something. Yeah. And I was like, not to mention that, but then it had a form like phishing people's information. And I was like, just for security purposes alone, I should probably talk to somebody or someone in China is going to end up with someone's information. But so I was like, okay, let me just go find the info. I started looking through that old file, found your name, didn't find a number or anything, and then just used reverse people search and found the number. And I was like, it's 50-50 if it even works, right? So not only am I cold calling you, but I'm thinking I could be calling Janet in Missouri right now and she's going to pick up, but it doesn't matter, right? So I call you and I forget. And you didn't answer. I texted, hey, is this Tommy? And then you called me back, which because you're a business owner, you get all sorts
I answer every call.
Yeah. Which is funny because a lot of people are really scared of sales calls. That's the
not
other
me.
thing. Not me either. I'm not scared to tell you it ain't for me, but so anyways, I cold called you and that's how we got together. Isn't it crazy?
Wild. I click whenever a call comes in, I hit custom message, and if it's green, I don't answer it most of the time, and if it's blue, then I know it's a decent call
because it's an iPhone.
Yeah.
And if it's green, it's probably one of those match your area code.
God, they call like crazy. I've had the same number since I was 17, so it's going on. I'm 47. What's that math?
Oh shit.
I'm 45, but 47 would be the simple math. That's 30 years. So 37 years. Holy shit, is that right? 27 years.
It's about 30 years you've had that phone for.
Golly.
That's crazy. I won't get rid of my phone number either. I've had it since I was like 13. It's like my first, I got it in that little Firefly phone or whatever, because I was walking home from school. My parents were like, you need that phone that has just our numbers. So I've had that number since then. And I don't know. It's a 919 because I used to live in Raleigh and I just won't get rid of it. But
keep it.
Yeah.
Well, so the reason you called is because y'all do websites for restaurants.
Yeah, so my company's Town, and so we service right over 100 restaurants now. We started really working on Town specifically towards the kind of, I guess you could say Q4 of last year. Started because we had Blueverse, which I'll talk about too. But we basically were like, okay, we were working with a lot of restaurants from Blueverse, realized what we were doing, didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel on that. But we had investments, we still had some capital. So I guess I'll just go into the Blueverse piece
You
first.
had capital from Blueverse?
Yeah. And so what happened with Blueverse was, okay, I go to tech, I joined fraternity, having a good time, meet a group of guys there. With that fraternity, I became like, I guess you'd call like the social chair, the guy that throws the parties, right? And so what I did was I started throwing some pretty big concerts, and then we threw one really big concert, which we called like Lubbock City Limits, LCL, organized the whole thing. It's 3 days, had like 6 rap artists. It was big for sure. And it was
We're
fun.
gonna throw a big party that nobody remembers.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys that are still living on a couple of those nights, but, but fit it together, man. It was really one of the most fun
Who
weekends.
did y'all have?
Well, the funny thing is now people call it a curse because like almost like a half or more of them died, but
the rappers?
Yeah, so it was like right after that. Little Keed, PNB Rock, Duke Deuce, Waka Flocka, and then I brought in 2 EDM guys. So I did the first night was an EDM DJ night, and we had like a set of EDM DJs, not like big names, but they were cool. Then the second night was Little Keed and Duke Deuce. The third night was PNB Rock and Waka Flocka. And I mean, pretty big names, honestly. I mean, across the board there. And it was It was pretty fun, man. Like we had a good time and sold tickets and stuff too. And yeah, man, money was just flying around because I remember we paid a lot of money for these artists.
Yeah, they're
like,
expensive.
Oh yeah, really expensive. Plus the venue and all that. Worked out a deal with. I did it at Brian. His name is Brian. It's what do they call it now? It was Charlie B's.
Oh,
now it's something
something
different.
4.
Yes.
Rodeo 4.
That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was friends with Brian at the time, so I was like, okay, I'll do it for you. And he was like, oh, well, you have to pay. And I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I'm about to fill this thing max. Like, just give it to me and you'll get the drink sales and we'll call it even. Because some of those times we'll do like a, share the drink revenue and whatever bullcrap. But anyways, I was just like, you get the drink money. Let me just, because I already knew I was way in on the artists and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the decorations and everything. So we pulled in some other fraternities to do it. And man, it was just organizing all those fraternities and all that, man. It was just a lot. Like it was really my first business venture.
Those concerts are a lot of work to put on.
Dude.
And everybody's like, oh, you should have this guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, that sounds really great, but do you have any idea what it takes to get this done?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big deal.
Dude, it was so funny, but I forget, but we were a couple weeks out from this concert and this is bad, but because we're a fraternity. So like, we're a public organization or whatever you would call it, charitable organization. And I just remember like, we were literally like starting to call like loan sharks in New York. We were like, so if we can't get the $60,000 in 2 weeks, what does that look like for us?
What were they saying?
And they were like, dude, we can't give it to y'all. Y'all are like a not-for-profit. Like we're not going to get, it was bad. But anyways, we were just dumb, man. But to that credit, the group of guys I did that with is doing town with me now. And man, we just run through walls. I mean, seriously, when we're hot on something, we will run through a wall for it.
I call my business partner and I bulldozers.
Yeah, that means same thing.
And because in business, it feels like everybody is against you.
Yeah.
And there could be, I have examples for hours, but I tell people we're just bulldozers. Well, what's that mean? Well, the city of Amarillo is being a pain right now about moving a pipe 2 inches.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
And
that's a big part of business right there.
I've been in the newspapers saying, I like the answer no, because that means I have more work to do and I like to work.
Yeah, I love it.
And they're
That's
like,
a
did
great
you
quote.
just say that? I said, absolutely.
That's a fire quote.
Let's
man. I
get
love
to
it.
work, boys.
Yeah, I love it.
And so at that point, the city knew I was not going to stop.
Yeah.
So you work with the guys from Tech, which is, you didn't know why you're going to school.
Yeah.
And
So
now you found a why.
yeah. So at that point, it was like, oh, I was selling insurance, and then I'm like, this sucks. I'm gonna actually just go to Tech. Which crazy story around that, but I told you in the car, but my grandfather he flew in the Air Force out there and actually had a wreck out there and died when my mom was 2. So like my family's from the East Coast. So for us to end up from the East Coast to now I'm going to school where my grandfather died was like a crazy full circle moment.
Yeah.
And anyways, it was just a really cool experience, but I knew for some reason I wanted to go to Tech. I could not tell you why. I mean, there were so many options on the table. I didn't apply anywhere. I had a really bad high school GPA. Shout out Tech for taking me in on that GPA. And I was like, whatever, let's go to Texas Tech.
It's the red and black colors.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
But Lubbock, how was your experience in Lubbock? The people are wonderful.
Dude, it's a wonderful city. First time I went to Lubbock was when I went out there for college orientation. I mean, so you can imagine like that first shock of like, oh, did I really choose this? Like, this is the next 4 years, but man, you got to love it quick. But I mean, really, like, it's a shock for sure. It's a little bit of a culture shock going out there, but you get to love it quick. But anyway, so I went to Lubbock and I was like, well, management, business, marketing, whatever, gonna do that for sure. And then while I was there, I was doing that concert stuff with my guys. And that's where we learned, that was my first business deal, right? Because when you're a couple weeks out and you owe, I don't even remember, it was like over $60,000. You're like, oh boy.
At 20 years old.
Yeah. Literally just getting drunk, having fun, right? You realize we might have got ourselves into something. And like the week before, tickets just poured in. I mean, like money, like we had to keep people 24/7 to buy, like sell the tickets. People were making these fake wristbands that we were catching. It was like it became a whole nightmare. I mean, and it just blew up in us. And I mean, we just had honestly just troves of it coming in at one point. And we cleared pretty well in the end. But the funniest thing about those wrappers is when they send you your rider, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So you already paid them whatever, $40,000 to come out here. You pay for transportation, everything. And you get a rider and he's like, I need 6 $1,200 bottles of whiskey.
Yes.
And you're literally like, dude, you can suck my ass.
Yeah.
Like, I am done, dude.
Yeah.
You've been paid all your money. I'm not doing this. Like, I want a fruit tray. I want the fruit cut in this order.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. Like, if no one's ever dealt with a rider, that's really how it is. They're like, I need the pineapple cut in triangles, the fruit in squares and watermelons. And I think they do it just to fuck with people and see who actually does it.
And you can mark out a ton of stuff on there. And if you have, since we had Beer House when we were last doing concerts, we did some there. I would just mark it all. I said, look, you got an open bar and whatever you want to eat, and that's it. If you need some towels or something in the back, fine. But
yeah,
those riders, they do try to see just what they can get away with.
Yeah. Some of the stuff, it's like hot tea, and like I can understand the vocals and whatever else, but like, look, 6 $1,200 bottles of whiskey, dude. Yeah, no shot.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that was my first business experience. I did it with this group of guys. We all handled it well. When shit hit the fan, none of us panicked. And, from there, it's actually funny that how many people try to start a college coupon app. Really. I mean, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but we really just got together as a group of 4. We all worked well together. We all had different skill sets. And we said, well, I think we can do something ourselves. I mean, I knew personally that I was going to lead that charge. And so really what happened for me was, well, I'm going to end up selling something, right? Because I'm getting my degree. I'm about to graduate college. And I'm like, I have a marketing management degree. I'm going to go do sales. Why not make my own thing to sell? That was really the mentality. Like, I'm just going to make my own thing and sell it myself. And so that's where we came up with that. We came up with college coupon app. There was a lot of excitement around
app on the phone.
Mm-hmm. You downloaded it, had all the local businesses, they had deals. Then what happened?
Did it work for a while?
Oh yeah, for sure at first. But then, couponing sucks. Honestly, it's just not a good avenue for restaurants in general. Not like bad to throw a coupon out, but you don't want. It's just like, you probably know, but it's not good to keep people coming back only for coupons. So that was a problem there. But then we try to spin into like other things. So then we try to bring like social media into the fold. So it was kind of like more like funny business reviews, which I actually still really love that idea. But starting like a social network or a network of any time, it's just they call it a network effect. And it is just super real, man. Like, you have to build into someone that, think about it. You wake up, you go to take a shit, you get on the toilet. What app do you open?
Yeah.
It's instinctive, these apps. And it's like, to break that instinct, to get someone to come into your app and do it daily for a tool like ours it was just fighting uphill. And we needed so much money to do it, way more than we were ever expecting to raise. And, we really tried hard. Then we were doing really well in Lubbock, but then we're like, well, we got to expand to other markets.
We got to get out of Lubbock eventually.
Yeah, we got to go to other college campuses. So I went and hired a team at A&M, UNT Denton, and we started trying to spread these teams around. And then that's when it just really got rocky, because it was like something would catch fire over here and over here. And then as I was finally catching some traction in this city, then Lubbock started to fall apart. And there was just like, and I mean, everyone said, oh, you're going to scale too quickly, it's going to be hard or whatever. And I mean, I listened to people. I wasn't just like, no, we're not going to scale too quickly. I kind of knew we were, but it was like, but it happens. You get kind of forced into it. And with the funding and everything, we couldn't make that business just work in Lubbock. So I don't know, hindsight's 2020, but probably should have stuck around in Lubbock a little longer and really solidified things. But we were ready to really grow it. And so we tried to just grow it too quickly. And then with the money that I had left, essentially from raising, so we can talk about. So
you had investors in the app?
Yeah. So what we did is we invested on safes. So that's called a simple agreement for future equity. Very common for software companies, but they really only work for like high cap businesses. Like, if you're not going to, you have to basically say, hey, Tommy, you're going to invest $25,000 in my napkin idea today at a $3 million cap with a discount on that stock, basically, which is going to be like you buy it at 90% of what it's worth. And they're honestly really they're called convertibles, and they're really complex, but on paper, there's a valuation cap associated with it and a discount. Whichever one gets you more shares, Tommy, that's the one that'll be enacted whenever we actually raise a priced round. Meaning one day someone comes and says, I want to give you $500,000 for 5%, a very specific amount of shares, which then prices all the shares out. And then at that point, we're like, okay, well, our new price per share is $1.10. So Tommy, remember you had your 30% discount or whatever. That's going to get you more shares than the $3 million cap, even though we raised at a $6 million valuation or whatever. So, and that was the vehicle we used. We had a bad legal team at first. Our new legal team's awesome. And I learned really quickly, we went with cheap lawyers that recommended to us. And let me tell you, cheap lawyers will cost you a lot more in the end.
They do.
Dude, than just paying the good lawyer up front. Do. And it's so funny, but you think to yourself, should I go with this guy that's $250 an hour or this guy that's $550 an hour? Well, let me tell you, the guy that's $550 an hour has done it before.
Yeah.
So he'll do it in 15 minutes. The guy that's $250 an hour has never done it and will do it in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Now where are you paying more, right? So
now I have a crummy example of that, and I think you said it. Just hire the good lawyer off the bat. I mean, I lost a deal that I just thought was foolproof and easy. And so I hired a crummy lawyer, and damn, I paid for it. And it sucks.
We paid for it bad.
Yeah.
Well, and when we started Blueverse, we were in a fraternity. So I knew that I could leverage these guys to help me build this company too, because a lot of them needed internships, needed work. So we had raised money. We had a great idea. There's a lot of energy. It's just a lot of momentum behind you when you start a new business.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what we talked in restaurants, and it's really all businesses. At first, man, it's a rocket ship.
Everybody's gung-ho.
Everybody's gung-ho. Everybody wants to do it. And then things get a little boring. Something hits the fan. And then all of a sudden, people start just kind of dwindling away, right? And so
it's like a new relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same shit.
Yep. And it's just the honeymoon phase of a new business.
Yeah.
And so you're in it. Everything's fire and hot, and like we're doing great, and new guys are coming in from the fraternity. But what we wanted to do was, I'm a big believer in, and anyone that's going to be, because we're a corporation, so we can issue an ESOP, which is not a lot of ownership, but it's some ownership in the company. And shoot, if you start with us today and we grow this to be $1 billion company or whatever crazy dreams we had at the time, wow, like just the little bit of shares you get today will be worth a lot. And I wanted everyone to have the upside, right? I've always said, like, if you work for me, I try to give the idea of like, hey, this is how you can make a good living, but this is how you can get your own yacht, right? Like, I think everyone wants that yacht. And so it's giving everyone that path. Not to say everyone doesn't want a yacht, but you know what I mean? Like, everybody has their dream of whatever their yacht is. And like, you want to make sure as an employer, you can help people get to that path. And so anyways, brought a lot of boys on. That bad lawyer, though, he didn't issue ESOPs. We didn't know. He issued stock transfer agreements. So it was a direct transfer of stock. And it was just a nightmare, man. Like, it wasn't even it was a valid agreement technically, but it wasn't valid in a lot of ways. And I don't know. Our new lawyers were awesome, though. His name's Alan, and he's super cool. He's saved us in so much, but
and y'all have used him to raise capital with everything. Town.
Yeah, if we sell this company, he'll do it. I mean, and it's funny, he's a very boutique firm. He was like one of the early .com boom lawyers for a big firm, and he's just been working with software companies like us for, over probably 30-something years. And I mean, there ain't something you can ask him around fundraising, around anything in that nature that he can't help you with. And he's really good, so...
So how do you if somebody wants to fundraise on a business, how does that process go?
It just depends on the type of business, really, because you have to think to yourself, look, any business can be a $100 million business. A landscaping business can be a $100 million business. But the thing about software companies is that the margins and the multiples are high.
Yeah.
You know, and so... recurring revenue, the deal with the software business is you can build recurring revenue to a large number and even get 10, 12, 14, 8, whatever the market's at, times that whenever you're ready to sell. And that creates what seems to be on paper an easy path to actually making some serious coin. But so like if you're going to go into like I don't know, it just depends on the type of business. Again, like if you're going to sell towels and it's a special fragrance towels and this is your dream idea, that's awesome. But you can't really probably say you have a path to like
multiply. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
They're
like,
going to get 3 times
Yeah.
if you're selling towels.
You got to be able to pitch it. And like, yeah, sure, towels is awesome. And I think you could definitely get rich selling towels. Look what the Scrub Daddy guy did. I mean, anybody can get rich doing anything. I'm not saying that. It's just that in the nature of that business, the odds of what you're doing is like, and it's what you set out to be. A lot of people say, are you a lifestyle business or are you a venture-backed business? You gotta pick.
So if somebody invests in with a company like Town, y'all are going to issue them stock.
At this point, yeah.
And then how are you paying them dividends every year?
So they don't get paid dividends. So, I mean, because as an investor, you wouldn't at this stage want me to pay you a dividend. You should be aligned to say, let's reinvest that into sales, marketing, research and development, because where we're at today is not where any of us want us to be.
Right.
We want to be, 100 million plus or whatever. And that's not going to, me paying you 10,000 when you invested 150, 200 or whatever is like, just not going to do it,
So are they waiting that you're planning on a 10-year exit or y'all planning on a 20-year exit?
Yeah. So really with Town, we feel like we could have a really fair path to a 5-year exit, but somewhere in a 5 to 10 year exit. Yeah. And a lot of people, like, if you're talking to someone new, I try to remember the mindset I was in before I started business, but a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to go public. It's like, by the way, a lot of people that get rich starting companies, there's a lot more people that sell their company at $10 million that get a lot more rich and take actually in more money than the guy that sold the $100 million company because of dilution and all sorts of factors. But
so how do they, who controls in that company when an investor invests? Y'all got a pool of money. Mm-hmm. Who's making decisions on where and how that gets spent?
The board of directors. Yeah.
And does every decision have to go through the board? What is the threshold?
Well, when you're a small company, the board is the executives and the salesperson. The board is the salesperson, the VP of sales, the CEO, and the board of director, right? So, transparency is the biggest thing I think that a lot of people miss on. We send monthly reports to our investors with transparent data of what's going on. How many clients churned, how many new clients added, how much money we spent, all that kind of stuff. Because to us, there's nothing to hide. Look, and when I first took in money, a good mentor of mine, Todd, he told me like, even though it's not a loan, you have to treat it like that, because when you're raising this kind of money, like technically, if the company went bankrupt, I don't have any like sole responsibility to pay anything back. But the minute that gets into your head, you're thinking about everything so wrong. Because a lot of these people that invested early, especially early, were grandpa and dad, and like I'll take a 10K flyer or whatever, dude, just because they see how hot and passionate and like I'm gonna do this. But anyways, when the Blueverse thing was turning down, we had just finished a raise a few months before
for Blueverse,
and we were like, we had like way too many employees and we had way too many markets, and we really didn't like the direction of, we were selling the crap out of it. We just couldn't get people to stick for a long time. We could get people to stick within a year, but then after that, they're like, whatever. I mean, it's good. It brought me some customers, but I'm gonna try something else. That was really the energy from a lot of people. Not that it was like horrible or anything. It was just like, I'm gonna try something else. Because marketing for restaurants especially is super like, I don't know, I did this coupon thing last year, I'm gonna do this year. You get what I'm saying? So that's what we fell into the trap of. And like, plus couponing is not a great avenue for restaurants. And so we tried doing we ended up, what happens is for our product, we turned it into a Frankenstein, because then we were trying to chase down everyone's thing. So then it was like, man, your app's really cool, but what if it did this? And then I'd go talk to John over here and he'd say, oh, your app's really cool, what if it did this? And then that's where our downfall started, is that we were chasing too many features, too many ideas at once. We were chasing every little shiny object we saw.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense as like an entrepreneur's brain is like, let's go try this.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I have to tell my partner and even myself, I'm like, dude, just stay in the lane, leave it alone. Yes. And everybody is throwing ideas out to you.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
There's so much noise, as a business owner that you hear from everybody. They've all got their $1 million idea. And now I just tell people, go try it.
Yeah.
Go try it.
Well, and that's funny because I'm at that point where a lot of people call me and like, hey, I'm going to start an app and all this. And like, I'm going to do an app. And I always tell them, do you know how to build an app? No, I was going to pay. Don't build an app. That's it. That's the answer. If you don't know how to build it and you don't have a buddy or a co-founder that's going to do it with you, don't build an app.
Yeah.
Because for us, we have our CTO is Patricio, and I mean, he can actually build anything, like legitimately. And so from a coding perspective, and so we have that, and so we can build anything. You cannot. We started paying contractors on Blueverse, and that is so expensive. And the thing about when you start your company is the idea that you start with today is not what is going to be the idea that ends up being your idea. It's going to morph and evolve. And if you have to pay contractors to build this app and then you want to scratch that idea and move to this idea, it's too expensive to be paying people and then communicating with people in India or wherever. It just doesn't work. And it just, if you're going to be a software company, you better have co-founder software engineers, technical talent.
Well, what did y'all do with Blueverse? Y'all had a pile of money, and then you said, hey, we're going to go do town. So you call investors and say, hey, here's what was that transition like?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was a tough time, honestly, man. Like, you know, that was one of the tougher times for me, right? Which is because it was like I had to fire everybody. We had to open up the books and we were like, oh, we're paying for this subscription. I'm like, what's it for? And they're like, someone started explaining before 2 words. You're like, can't get rid of it. Because the money, if you keep burning like you're burning and you're not bringing it in, and basically I would have realized is I have this tiny of a window to reset all the expenses and everything, save everything, and work with just the original co-founders and our small team to then go put a real new product out to the market, which solved a real problem that we were really passionate about because we were working with so many restaurants at this time. If I'm not in the microphone, tell me to. But
no, you're fine.
We were just passionate, man. We've talked to through Blueverse thousands of restaurant owners, and you start hearing those same things over and over. And then that's what
identified a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just had to unfortunately burn way too much money and way too much time to figure out what our little niche and problem was going to be. But once I figured out what that problem was going to be, that's when we were like, okay, cut everything, fire everyone. Don't pay for that. They're like, well, we need it for this. I'm like, dude, we'll use iMessage. Cut it. You know, it was just everything was just cut. What a good lesson to learn at an early age, though. Yeah,
we've had shit hit the fan with the restaurants and
because you went through COVID.
Dude, we've had stuff go. And I think, everybody wants, when I see shit on Facebook, everybody wants your business just to be like a rocket.
Yeah.
It's just going up. We're hiring. But the second somebody says, oh, we've got to let go of 10 people. People, oh, what the hell? And unfortunately, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And if you look historically through any business in the world, they've all had hirings, firings, let go. Yeah. It's an ebb and flow thing. And I think the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can relax. But having to reel in what you're doing and what's been created by other employees or processes set in place that you just found, but having to reel all that shit back into your core team and your core group got you lean. It got you to where you could grow and expand, and you could have gone the other way and just gone.
Oh no, totally. I mean, 1,000%. And the other thing is that not only that, but we had, from all the messed up legal stuff, we had there was a big piece of us that was like, not to mention, but we've got this pool of equity that's just dead because it was with these old employees that are old fraternity buddies and stuff. They're all now working their own jobs and stuff. So if we did just bankrupt this thing, we could start with the fresh cap table, fresh investments and stuff. But you would have to face losing all the people's money that believed in you in the beginning, and I wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no matter what, we're gonna make something happen out of this. And I mean, that's my goal to this day. Is like, no matter what happens, the people that believed in me in the beginning, I have to return that favor and work work my ass off until we can get it there. So,
well, what's happened with Town? How old is Town?
Town really, like I said, Q4 started a lot of market research, deciding we needed to be a lot more lean about what we built and everything, and we needed time. We would need development time, 3-4 months.
Explain what Town does.
So now what we do is we're kind of like the front of house for a restaurant, the digital side of a restaurant. So we basically want to give you everything you need to run your restaurant online. So if you look at a current restaurant stack, when we're looking at it, they use so many different tools. They have a website company, they have OpenTable, they have a POS company that does the in-store stuff. They have a different online ordering company. They have delivery companies. They have, and it just goes. I have a loyalty company. Yeah, I have a loyalty company. I have this, and you add it all up. It's like, dude, you're paying like $5,000 a month across 12 subscriptions to handle all these things. Not to mention, it's all fragmented, so all the customer data is just scattered,
gone,
and it's just a mess. And like. Then, and I was kind of explaining to you that what happened really, because we started this company about 2021, Blueverse, and then Town evolved. So now it is Town Technologies, and Blueverse has been sunset. But we look at it and we said, wait a second, there's a big shift in restaurants that happened that a lot of people didn't really pay that much of an attention to because, and you know this more than anyone, 2020 happens, COVID happens. Before that point as a restaurant, butts and seats. What online, website, who cares? And then COVID happens, like, oh crap, I have to have a website, I have to have menu online.
Oh crap, quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh crap, quick. And COVID was just, it was wild for everybody, but it was how do we get food out quick?
Yep. And then that was the problem, man. It was just like, I don't even have a website. What is online ordering? Before then, it was like who delivered Papa John's, and then the delivery apps exploded, and so there was this huge shift in restaurants, and there were a lot of companies that were earlier than us in this space that really blew up quickly around this time, and quite frankly, looking at their business models, were better tools and tool sets than what people had, but we're still kind of taking advantage of the restaurant. Which is natural. When you're first to the party, you kind of set the price, right? But anyways, a lot of people had first movers advantage in this whole shift in restaurants, which went from, I don't care about a website or online presence, we're doing good, I don't need none of that, to COVID, oh crap, I got to sell online. Then we were like, okay, there's something here, because with the DoorDash thing, they also are taking 30%.
God, they're murdering you. And all the prices, we have to set all the prices higher up on their app to even make it worth our stuff. So your $10 burger is $13.
Yeah. And isn't it funny when DoorDash calls you and they're like, hey, your prices should be the matching in store. And you're like, dude, you're taking 30%. No. My margins aren't 30%. Like, so it's just like, it's ridiculous. And that's really where we see a big shift is we see, okay, this DoorDash thing is exploding. Not only Papa John's can deliver, but everyone can deliver. And then it was like, at that time you had the marketplaces, which is DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that, Easy Cater, platforms like this. These are good platforms. Yes, they're murdering restaurants, but in a way, think of it like this. They are a salesman for your restaurant. All they're telling you is we're taking a 30% commission for what we sell.
Yeah.
So the problem with that is a lot of restaurants don't see it that way. And they're like, they take 30% fees. I'm like, no, it's a 30% commission. If I was a salesman for your restaurant and I took a 30% commission, would you tell me to stand with a sign in the front, out front?
Yeah.
No, you'd be like, dude, go over 100 blocks down and bring people in. But then people were pitting DoorDash on their front website, linking directly to DoorDash to offer delivery. Oh. Like you're just sending people to pay either, and they're paying 30% more, or you're paying 30% just to offer delivery. So then with our tool, you can basically tap into the delivery networks, DoorDash, Uber, these networks, and get the driver and actually dispatch the food and everything without having to pay any fees because they ordered directly from you.
Yeah.
So there's no sales commission, because DoorDash's model is the sales commission, the driver gets, the delivery fee, then the service fee. So they're getting fees from the customer. So they're taking a lot of money. So they still get paid when a delivery happens. They get their DoorDash delivery fee and they get their service fees and everything.
So how do y'all go around that?
So basically what we do is we build you a website. And we set up your menu like a DoorDash online ordering experience, but also it's one of the best looking websites you've seen, right? Like, and if you go to any big company, you'll notice it's the same thing. Go to McDonald's, you can order delivery from their website. DoorDash driver picks it up.
Yeah.
It's the same system. We're just giving you the drivers and saying, hey, if you can drive the traffic to your website, right, and the people want to order the delivery food from you, then you don't have to pay anybody a commission because you did the marketing work. So that's really what it is. So customer goes, adds their food to cart, goes to checkout, chooses pickup or delivery, what time they want the food, put their cart in, check out. They get a link to track their driver if they order delivery, and voila, food gets delivered.
Done.
Yeah.
Man, DoorDash, Grubhub, all those people have been murdering the restaurants for a few years.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is just start the movement of like, again, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just salesmen. Yeah. There's hungry people in their app. DoorDash spends tons of money to get people into their app shopping for restaurants. Millions of people every day make a decision on where to eat through the DoorDash app.
Yeah.
So if I always say this, and it's just funny, but it's like, you don't try and sell ice to an Eskimo, right? Well, the opposite of that is if you're a restaurant and there's hungry people out there and they're looking in this app for food, you might as well be listed in there.
Yeah.
That was kind of the deal. So that's what I tell restaurants. I'm like, it's okay, we're going to be in there, but we have to pass the fees. You can't absorb 30%.
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that. And so you're going to have to pass an extra cost, but everyone does it in the restaurant business at this point. Everyone's increasing their prices by 30%. If you look at it, even the big chains are on these apps. And so you just increase your prices by 30%, but the customer has the Dash Pass and they get discounts and buy one, get one frees and all that kind of stuff too. So
man, it's a racket. What else do y'all have in y'all software that's beneficial for the restaurants besides the delivery stuff?
Yeah. So it started with, we literally just started as like a pretty much your own first party ordering tool. So now we have, the way that the space has evolved is marketplaces, DoorDash, Uber, Grubhub, and Easy Cater and all those kind of places. They have people in their app. Then the tools that evolved were like, and they've been around forever, even before the COVID stuff, is third-party ordering tools. So you're linking off people off your website to place an order, but it's like less commission and stuff because it's through this third-party ordering system. So, but it's not directly under your website, right? So you have to externally link someone off your website to your checkout and cart. Looks like crap. You're still losing the data. It's just another tool. Town in what we're calling first party ordering is no one ever leaves the beer house site to order a burger now. They just go to your site, click on menu, start looking at the burger they want, hit add to cart, and they never leave the site. They do the whole transaction on the site. That is a really important piece because now we're keeping people in your suite. We're grabbing phone numbers, emails, and stuff so that we can turn on SMS marketing, email marketing. And then as well as we have a reservation tool, we have our loyalty points, so we give them loyalty points. And it's just what we're doing with SEO as well that really helps the restaurant just appear better online. We have all, of course, where when you update something in town, it updates across pretty much the entire internet and stuff like that. So there's a lot of tools behind town. But the idea is to basically give restaurants this one stack of tools that's like, it's very affordable in terms of all the stuff you're getting. You can have people book reservations, get loyalty points, order their food, and even just have a nice website, right? I mean, tons of restaurants are paying hundreds a month just to have a pretty website.
Yeah. How has Town taken off and grown for you guys?
It's doing really good. I mean, like, so this is the funny thing about Town is when you look at it from a perspective of a Blueverse timeline, that's what kind of gets in our heads. Like, gosh, we've been doing this for 3-4 years, like whatever. But really, the first Town product really went out and got beta tested in January and just evolved super quickly from restaurant feedback. And now we're the end of basically our first full year with the product out in the market, and we're sitting right over 100 restaurants. And I think it's growing really well. I mean, we want to be at over 3,000 restaurants in 5 years. Internally, we have more ambitious goals as well, but like that's about the mark we want to be at over the next 5 years.
And how has it been acquiring new customers? Are y'all getting a bunch of word of mouth, or is it all cold calls right now?
Cold calls, man. You just got to get out there and call. So there's the 4 founders. There's really like our 5.
Y'all should call those the forefathers.
Yeah, the 4 fathers. Yeah, exactly. But no, there's really, and then Patricio as well, who's our CTO, and he's basically a founder too, but just not on paper. But of town, he's definitely a founder. So there's really 5 of us, and we have a bunch of different avenues, man. And I mean, they expand, but if you're going to start a business, and this is what I was explaining early on with the sales stuff, no one that's really making a lot of money in sales is doing it from cold calling.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I've looked at the things and I'm like, I've even talked to people who are really good cold callers who make a lot of money cold calling. And then I'm like, okay, cool. But like, what lead source are you cold calling? Oh, well, I set up this lead funnel through Facebook that's getting me all the leads that I'm cold calling. And I'm like, okay, so you're calling hot leads that you're generating through a funnel. Yeah. I'm like, not exactly my take on cold calling, but you know what I mean? Like, not to say it's not like telemarketing and not that, but there's just a big difference in how you get customers. So what we're starting to realize really quick is if you want to grow in this space, you need distribution partners, right? And so we know like competitors, like the biggest people in our space, majority of their business comes from food distributors. Cisco, US Foods, things like that. Because if you're a restaurant, you're opening a restaurant, who's the first person you probably call?
Man, I remember you don't even have to call them.
Yeah,
they show up. These poor guys, when I was building Beer House, I built it with my own hands. Like almost a ton of it. There were like 5 of us that built Beer House. So these guys would be standing over me while I'm mixing mortar to build the bar, and they want me to stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop. I said, sir, if you're going to stand there, you're just going to have to keep talking because I won't stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the food distributors have been, we're very loyal to them. And so they've been good so far. We use Cisco for almost everything. We were going to switch about 2 years ago, and man, when we told them that, boy, they came running. But we're a big buyer for food. I mean, we're not a gigantic corporation, but we're a good account for them. So they helped us out, and we're happy with who we use. I have some other products that I want to get out, but I haven't rolled that out. We'd like to do our own prickly pear concentrate, but I'm working with another company that does it, and eventually we'll have our own. So we need Benny Keith and US Foods and Cisco to help us. But and the way I'll get into there is I'll feed them a little bit, and they're gonna have to feed me a little bit.
Yeah. Totally.
So, but how do y'all use them to get through people? Were there salespeople?
Well, so now that's what I was saying is that we're trying to start opening those avenues rather than just cold calling our way. You can't cold call your way to 3,000 restaurants in 5 years. So, we're going to have to, like, there's really a lot of ways to do it. But I mean, you're going to have your sales side of things, right? Which eventually we'll start rolling into. But the idea is that if I'm our salesman, until we can get my entire calendar filled with demos to where I'm, demoing restaurants, our product all day, then we don't need to bring on another salesperson, right? Because the idea is just that's your top of funnel. And if your top of funnel is feeding that one salesperson, then you're going to be good when that person's calendar gets filled. Don't get me wrong. Eventually we want to go hire SDRs and stuff to actually go out and get business for us. But they're kind of expensive in their own right as well. So.
I know it takes money to pay sales guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot.
And a full commission model works really well in insurance and some other places. But what I've always said is you pay peanuts and you get monkeys. Yeah. So it's kind of a tough thing. And
but how many accounts does it take to pay a sales guy a base of 70, 80,000? Well, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And that's why there's quotas and all that stuff. And a lot of people, if you notice, they're working sales jobs, but a lot of people get cut from sales jobs pretty quickly, especially those nicer ones that are paying that. Because dude, if we don't see potential that you're going to be making quota, we can't just keep you around paying you that much for 3 years.
It's expensive. I need a business development manager now for catering and all kinds of stuff. But with me having all these companies, all right, I need you to go rep Paint Rock, Beer House, Miguel's, are and so I need to get on it. I just haven't done it. I don't know what's holding me back.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do from a website perspective too, to kind of, I think you'll be surprised with how much can actually be done from just
we're going to have a follow-up conversation. We've actually signed up with Town. For me, the hot button was kind of like, hey, here's what it's going to cost monthly to maintain basically a website. And we're trying to get my technology thing. I've told Mason I've failed 100% of the time on the websites, which means I'm very consistent. So, and he's telling me that with their product that we're going to be selling a bunch more food. So I hope that we are.
Totally.
And we'll have a beautiful website.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, you're going to have one of the highest tier looking websites you've seen, but also all of a sudden the website went from just another
sent you to China.
Just another expense to wait a second, we're actually making money through this thing. Like, hold on. And then now, like one of my big hot buttons for Beer House was like, dude, if we turn on delivery for Beer House, the food is very good at Beer House. If you never had it, go through. And a lot of people are scared to go in because like, I got to go face this college demonic crowd to go get a burger. And I think by giving people the option to pick up and order for delivery, it'll actually allow people to. The
demonic college crowd. The nice thing about Beer House though,
it's not like that.
We've heard, a lot of people in Lubbock won't go during the school year. So they'll go during the summer. I was waiting for the college kids to leave, which if they're going anytime before 7 p.m. it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But putting a Beer House down in Port Aransas, where the adults go and eat, has really solidified the quality of food because they are eating up Beer House. And Beer House down in Port A is like 85% food sales.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's completely a reciprocal of what's going on in Lubbock. So Lubbock is, 70% booze.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it's a complete reciprocal down in Port A. But we've got the regulars down there that just love it. And the food at Beer House is all cooked to order, fresh.
Yeah.
Like it's good food.
It is, man. I was just telling you on the ride up here, I'm like, dude, those Beer House burgers are damn good. Yeah. They are the real deal. If I was looking for a good burger, I used to live in those apartments that were walking distance and I would do it. But again, it was just like, sometimes I'm hungry at 8 p.m. and I'm like, I look over a Beer House and it's just packed. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to face that to get a burger right now. But if I could order for delivery through the website, pay an extra $5-6, and now I've got it sitting at my door. Like, so be it. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, and the food at Beer House, that kitchen up there in Lubbock does a good job of not taking forever on the food either. But it's still a pain in the ass to walk in, especially if you're trying to be a good college student and behave. And then you got to go to Beer House. You're like, maybe I'll have a margarita.
Yeah, no, totally.
There goes your night.
Yeah, there it is, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I have definitely walked in there saying, I'm just getting a burger.
Shit.
Oh, what up, buddy? Yeah. There it goes, dude. There goes
You're
the whole.
Done.
Yeah.
Now you have a hangover.
Yeah, and next thing you know, I'm on the swings and we're doing pickle shots. I'm like, how did we get here? I'm like in athletic shorts. I'm like,
I forget about all that shit because I don't drink anymore. So I did get about 2 years of Beer House in me and having a good time, but I forget about the outside influence of not wanting to drink.
Yeah.
And it's never just one.
No, never is.
That's a lie that millions of people tell themselves.
They do, man. I mean, and it's just so funny. I feel like, a lot of people they just love their little booze, man. And you got to respect it. We've all got our little things. So
I tell people if they don't have a drinking problem, I'll help you get one. So we cater to all.
Yeah.
If they don't want to drink, and that's a funny thing you were telling me that I was making fun of glasses earlier, because if somebody tells me they don't drink, the first thing I say is, "Oh, you pussy," and then they find out I don't drink. They're like, "What? You don't drink?" And then you're making fun of me.
Yeah.
Chill out, sensitive.
Totally.
So, it'll be fun. Where can people find Town Media or Town?
Yeah, so we just go by Town, and it's really just a software company, but you go to town.club, so www.town.club. And you'll find us and fill out a form, get a demo. Our goal really is,
what's a demo look like?
So the demo is just we hop on for 30 minutes, talk about your restaurant, kind of the tools you're using and stuff, and then I show you what we can do for you. Because when we go into it too, like there's a lot of stuff in there with the POS integration and there's so many tools I didn't really touch on, but
it's a ton.
It's a ton. And for us to be a viable tool, we can't increase any sort of like fragmented feeling. And so that's where our focus really is to make sure like when we come in and stuff, everything is really cleaned up. So, I mean, it's a work in progress, but what we always say too is like, we're not the restaurant operators. So what we do is we talk to restaurant operators and they tell us what they need. And we were a lot better now at fielding what people need. Like where with the Blueverse, we learned our lesson.
Experience
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
And I always ask people, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self for business? And, you haven't been in business that long.
No.
But you're doing things right now that,
because I'm 25. So, I mean, the sooner you start, the better. Because I don't think the lessons that I learned, at least me and who I am, if I learned them at 23, if I had started later, I would have learned them at 33 or 43. And so like getting a jump start on it and everything. And a guy called Naval is his name. And that's really inspired me to be an entrepreneur because, there's a podcast he has, How to Get Rich. And,
it's easy.
It's so funny, but that's
far from easy.
But that's how he starts it. And it's just, he laughs because he's had so many successful companies and he's like it's one of those things where, being an entrepreneur is just different, man. Like it's a lot of creating your luck, right? Because for example, like let's say you start a company. And this is the analogy he uses is he's like, let's say you're the best diver in the world. You've worked 35 years to be this diver and you're the only one that can dive to a certain depth. Mm-hmm. Someone finds a treasure at that depth. You go and get it and you get rich. There's somebody out there that's gonna be like, man, Tommy got lucky, man. Someone brought him that treasure, whatever, but there's no appreciation for the 35 years of training and that you're the individual that can do it. And I think you see the same thing with any kind of business. Anybody that's in business, I have a lot of appreciation for because it's like there's something that kept them around and it's never luck, man. And what happens is you stay in business long enough, your thing just pops at the right time. And that only can happen if you stay in business.
Yeah.
If you don't stay in business, you'll never find that thing that goes pop.
Man, and it's hard. And there is a lot of luck, but there's also a lot of long, hard nights and not giving up. And I've said this before about a girl that used to work for me. I did not want to come to work for probably a year and a half. Yeah. And every morning that lady, Evelyn, would go, it's going to be a great day, Tommy. It's going to be a great day. And, I just kept showing up and showing up. And then we ended up selling the damn landscape company and it was all worth it. Yep. But God, it takes a beating. Well, it'll be fun to watch where you're going to go. These are conversations that I don't typically have with 25-year-old guys. And so I was kind of looking at where I was 10 years ago, which would be no beer house, maybe 30 employees and doing whatever I was doing. And then up until now, it's 215 employees, 9 different locations, construction business. And so that 10-year gap, which is what people call overnight success.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Not.
That's what I was saying about the diver thing, right?
It's like, not.
Oh, Tommy found a treasure. He's rich, lucky guy. It's like, what about the 35 years training to be a diver? It's just funny. But
so it's going to be, it'll be nice to watch what you guys are doing for the next 10 years and hopefully ride along in the journey and y'all sign us up on every dang place we open because we've got
you got plans for more.
Yeah, we got plans for more down in Port Aransas, another coffee shop. I think Lockhart, Texas will be next for a coffee shop. And none of these things, I say it like, it'll be next. These are year and a half, 2 years.
Oh yeah.
We don't raise money. That's one of the things that I'd like to learn, which I wrote Alan's name down to see if anybody would want to raise money and invest. And we have had private people put in on these things and they've worked out, but it's not been a long-term thing. Mm-hmm. And my long-term goal would be to get out of here somehow and keep the real estate that we've bought. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of real estate, but you can have my restaurants. Just write me a check.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
totally.
But I'm keeping the real estate.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's a great plan, man. It's a pleasure talking to you, but, and I'm down to keep it rolling too. But if you got other topics.
Well, you got guys coming in here to talk to you about our website stuff.
Are they here?
I'm sure he is. They listen well, I guess. And James Klutz and doesn't come and knock on the door, but I bet they're here. And
Okay.
we got a full day of God knows what going on. I wish Burnt Bean was open today.
I know you raved about the place. I'd love to check it.
Sucks. We'll go see if they have
Like the frozen.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Burnt Bean, for those that don't know, keeps a freezer at the back near the merchandise counter, and they have all been cooked and prepped by Burnt Bean. So you can take that meat that's there, the racks of ribs, turkey, brisket, and either heat it up on the oven, or they want it. Is it called souffle when they boil it?
Yeah.
They say that boiling it is the best thing, but it's a great thing to grab from there. If you don't want to wait in line or do anything, you just go grab that and cook it at your house, and it comes out perfect.
I love it. That's awesome.
But anyway, man, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
It's town.com.
Dot club. So no .com. Yeah. It's just
town.club to find you. And we look forward to seeing what you can do with us and watching y'all grow in y'all's journey.
No, I'm super excited. I was going to say, like, I don't know when this will release or whatever, but I mean, if you're a listener, just put on your calendar, check out any of the Bonner Enterprises spots and Beer House, any of them, and take a look at what we built. Cause like I was telling Tommy when we were first working together, I'm like, look, man, I have spent a lot of time and money at Beer House, Miguel's Paint Rock Home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pride in this for our team, and we're super excited to put it together.
When are they supposed to roll out for the restaurants?
So it's just a matter of getting the photo shoots done and then getting the integration set up. So I would say within the month for sure. Before
That'll be cool.
So
all right, man.
We're waiting on some things with Paint Rock and stuff. So it's
That's always something.
or organizing.
It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy.
Start a business. It's easy.
Snap your fingers. It's easy. It's like when someone says, you know what you should have on the menu? And it's like, do you have any clue what it takes to get that on the menu?
You know, it's so funny. It's the same thing with our products. Like, do you know what you should add to this product? And it'll be something so off the wall, man. And you're like, dude, that's not even related to restaurants.
It's a party.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming in. Let's go see what these clowns are doing out here in the hangar.
All right.
Thanks for watching Business Under Fire. We'd love it if you would share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.